Hello everyone and welcome back to Learning Feed the Beast. Now, I'm ready to move on to the next version of the Modpack, and it probably will be version 8. I don't think 9 is out yet. Little bit of a guess from last time. And today we are going to be doing the biomass and biofuel. It will be happening, even though I've got to put a lot of work in beforehand. But just before I do change versions, I'm going to show you what I did at the end of last time. There you are. Turtle has finished. I had to do quite a few hours actually AFKing here. Basically all it does is the turtle comes back to this point. It throws out its items. I've got an obsidian pipe here. We saw that last time. It picks up the items like we have in the blaze. Come through the pipe. You then come to a diamond pipe, and this is basically a sorting system. Each corner of the pipe has a colour on it, and I'll show you that up there as well. And these come to chests. So I was just filling up lots and lots of chests of items. So I've got a lot of stuff from that. And I'm really welcoming the materials there, because I do need them. But most importantly, yep, 74 diamonds. And I'm going to be using a lot of these today because the things I'm going to be building are very diamond intensive. I can also take this one back, and I got this many diamonds because I went along when we were down to level 16. Every couple of layers I would go out there and take my fortune pickaxe, so I did a whole load of enchanting when I was doing those zombie spawners, or the zombie shards anyway, and taking my fortune 3 and getting more diamonds that way. So things go in this side, and then through the top, which at the moment is white, I was putting certain things through. So in that hole there, and I was putting my dirt, my gravel and my cobble. So none of that got filtered through, so only the good stuff got through. I got plenty enough of that here anyway. So what I'm going to do is look at a whole list of ingredients and machines I have to make, because at the moment in this version we need to probably go for a decent way of getting some biomass. And the one I know best is a sugarcane harvester, and from that you need to get a logger. From that you need to get electron tubes and circuit boards, which take diamonds, which need a thermite fabricator, and also a carpenter, which also needs to be powered. So I'm going to set up a whole load of stuff and get ready to put in here. I'm going to move this all around and put it underground. And then I get back to you with a whole list of machines I'm going to put in, so please pay attention. There will be a lot of things going on, so I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so this is going to get very complicated very fast, so do try and bear with me. And we're version 8 now, so some of the recipes are slightly different to what they were before. I've got a whole load of things here to make, and I've got to make them in certain orders, and then produce stuff to then make the next thing, so there's a lot of things to be planned. First I'm going to make my prototype Omni Wrench. These work on IC2 as well as a lot of the other things, so they work on them. They also work on things like the red conduits and all sorts of things like that. So it's very useful, and also unlike the electric version, don't really want to move that, there you go. The electric one we had before, this electric wrench you no longer need. This one does not use up any power at all when it's used, so it's an infinite version. Doesn't use any power at all, and it's completely lossless. So that's a very good thing to have there, and it just costs a couple of diamonds, so it's really worth it. Next, we move on to, actually we've done them, move on to a rolling machine. Now this we won't use just yet, but it's good to have one. Then we need a liquid transposer. And what else have we got here? We've got a magma crucible. Then we have some electric engines, so we make 9 of them. And then we need some heat vents, so it's a load of them. Induction smelter. And then we're now at the point where we need to make more materials. So down here, I've hollowed out the area. Just a 3 high gap, so I can put some wiring and things down here, make it nice and neat. I've got the generators here, as they've shown before I think. These blaze rods are the excess after these are filled up. So at the moment the spawner is off, so we've got 64 stacks in there, and we've got some in there as well. These MFEs, there's loads of these here. These are just basically a bulk energy storage. because the blaze coming in, I don't want them going all the time. So this is a nice big buffer here for energy. So these are a bit overkill, but I've got 10 of them there and 2 of them here. And we won't go through doing transformers yet because we don't need them. So these are producing 1 to 8 out per tick. Normal IC2 machine that would explode on that for a 32 one. So we don't want that. What we do want to do is set up some engines, because engines can take in any amount of energy. Put that there, and I'm just going to make a little row of these. I'll probably cut this bit now. Okay, so set up 3 engines here. As you can see, they're not pointing the right way or anything. We're going to put down our machines we want to use at the moment, and this is very temporary. I only need this to make certain materials. This one's needed to make the hardened glass that I need, so that's there now, and I'll just get the wrench and just shift it around a little bit. There you are. So now we'll turn this on, we'll start powering this one up, and it's all going to turn them all on anyway. So that's getting some MJ, that's good, and from this we need to make the hardened glass, which you need for the next recipes, but we've got some other stuff we can make in the meantime. So here we have, keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, make some of them. This iron pipes, thermionic fabricator, that's what I wanted, and carpenter. Now these can go into the same setup over here. I will move these all around during the episode as well, so this isn't any sort of permanent thing. Just move them in. Oh. There we are. So now these are getting energy, that's good. Now once these build up, I need to put in some heat vents. This just basically makes them not overheat. There are some advanced ones, but I don't think you need them in just standard energy ones. Yep. So they're building up, and this one we need to put some glass in. So I'll go grab those stuff and I'll come back to you. Okay, so I went to set up our magma crucible and our liquid transposer as well. Start off with the carpenter, and then you put water into this, like so. I don't think you need to go all the way to the top to do this, but we'll just do that for now. And then for this, we need to have redstone, so you just click in with the left hand click, put the items in there, left click there, and then it'll start making circuit boards. Now these will come out here, so that's what we need to get some of our farming machines. There we are, let's do that. Next we have the thermionic fabricator. Now this has enough energy in it, it should do, so you put glass in, fills up with glass, liquid glass, we then get our diamonds, and this should be the recipe. And like so. Yep, 4 diamondite electron tubes. So we're just going to make 4 at the moment. We could do with a few more, I think. We'll just go for 8. Got to be careful how many I'm using of this. Induction smelter, we put in our lead and crushed obsidian just in the pulverizer. Doesn't matter what form the lead's in as long as it's lead. And there we are, hardened glass. Well, as long as it's not the ore anymore. Hardened glass we need for what we're going to do over here. So let me just grab that after I do this. Magma crucible melts things. In this case we're going to do redstone. So you can put things in here to make lava. So you can put the netherrack in here and then make lava. In this case we're making redstone. And this machine is set to output on the right hand side. So it's actually throwing it into the liquid transposer. Now this is filling up here with redstone basically. And then we're going to make some tubes to go into here, because we are making a new way of transferring power. So in here we've got electrum, that's just mixing the gold and silver and then cooking it. Put in the hardened glass here, and we make energy conduits. So mix some of them there, and then put them over here, and put them in here. Now these fill up, we now have redstone energy conduits. Now these are going to be one of the most awesome things ever. They're basically wires, but for MJ. And they do not decrease power over distance at all. And we're going to do lots of things on top of this as well, because we've now got Tesseracts, which I will be including in this episode, I hope. They're quite expensive, but they really help. So we've got some cables now. So what we can do is actually just power... Oh, that one's actually getting hot. Ooh. So you can actually power these engines into a conduit now, and then power the machines directly from the conduit without actually needing all these engines up here. So that's why I said it's going to be temporary just having them up here, because I'm going to move them all downstairs in a bit. But all we're going to do is make some conduits first. Okay, so next we can start making our things to make our biomass. So we've got our arboretum, we'll stick with that, and we've got logger. We want to make a couple of these actually, when I get some other stuff for this. It shouldn't have filled up like that, but it did for some reason. Oh, a couple of loggers there. And then from the logger we need to make a sugarcane harvester, which should be in one of these somewhere. Let me just find it. And there we are. So we got one sugarcane harvester now. We've got one arboretum. We've got 2 loggers. And that should be okay for the moment. What we're going to do is set up 2 farms today for biomass. One's going to be oak trees, and the other thing is going to be sugarcane. So for this, we've got some other stuff that are new in this version. So we've got Tesseracts we're going to be doing, but first of all we need to have NG cells. So make a few of these, 4 of them. We then put them into here, same as we did the cables, and fill them up. They take quite a bit more than the individual cables, so that's why I got lots in here. And so note, I did change setup down here, because I said you can now use the NG conduits. These are now powering all these machines directly, so there's nothing else on the surface going into them, which looks a lot nicer. And I've got an array of engines down here going into these. Now with these you can change the colours, so blue is being used the NG and orange is putting NG into it. So all these NG coming out of these engines are going through the pipe, going up here and into the NG. Too many NGs there, going into the machines. So my words do get mixed up sometimes. This is still creating the redstone. So got 2 cubes full up there, still a couple more. But before we can do anything with these NG cubes, we need to finish them. And that's by putting them in here. We go to a redstone NG cell. It's just the frame to a cell. So make 2 of them for now. And what we can do is lump this on these conduits. So I'll just put one down here, put there. And those will now take in energy. As you can see, it's filling up. And the brilliant thing with these are movable NG storage systems. So if you just move this with the wrench, you see this actually has some NG in it now. If you just break it like you would normally break a machine, then it loses its energy. But if you do it with the wrench, it keeps it. So I'm going to store up some energy here anyway. Just the energy that this isn't actually building up in here. So not going to waste very much. And they are going to be very important later on in the episode when we get the Tesseracts, because they are rather complicated compared to what we have at the moment. So I'm going to wait for these to fill up, and while I do, I've got some other stuff to make. So in this one, my Tesseract is going to come in. Does the same as we did with the NG cells, but it needs ender pearls to go through. So liquid ender pearls, and that's why we had the enderman spawner. So we can do that in a bit. But in here we have fertilizer. This is very important for anything on the bioenergy. But we need first of all to make humus. Now this is used for the tree farm. So make a load of humus there. And we're going to put up this arboretum. We'll put it over, put it here for the moment, just as a temporary thing. We're going to look into here. There's humus slot in there. Nope, not full stack. I thought it was putting it down. We've got trees that can go in there, and then it outputs sand when it actually harvests the trees. So what I'm going to do is power that. Now it needs MJ, so we need to put up one of these pipes to it. So I'm going to do that and be back with you. So I'm ready now to wire this up. I've got a cable going on underneath now, and we will actually be removing this shortly later on this episode, but for now it just shows you how it works. And put the last cable in there. Both the woodcutter and this are powered, the logger, and now it should place itself. Well, there you are, going a bit slowly, and that makes its own frame, and then it will plant its own crops. So it's going to plant the saplings, and while it sits and does that, we're going to do the next part, and that is the Tesseractors. Now these are new for version 8. Make a whole load of them. 5 on my low on tin. That's okay. And we need to fill them up with ender pearl essence, I guess. Ender pearl liquid. So I already filled some up in there already. They're out, they'll go in. Just wait for them to be finished. And there we are, all done. I actually made a few more, and I set up some other stuff as well. And this is still going. No, it's going to start making the plants grow now. So hopefully these trees will be sprouting soon, and then the logger will cut them down. And then what I've got here is a diamond pipe. I don't know if this actually works, but I'm just going to test it now. The green one should be putting the saplings back into here, in theory, and then everything else should go into this one here. Sand will go into here when a tree has been grown, so I know that no trees have been harvested because there's no sand in there. And at the moment I'm just manually putting in the humus, and that should be it really. And all we want to do now is take these Tesseractors and see what we can do with them. So in here, you just press U on this. You can do an energy Tesseract, liquid Tesseract, or item Tesseract. Now these are awesome. They basically work like ender chests. Actually that one grew there. We'll watch it being cut down, hopefully. If it has enough power, it should do. Oh, there it is. A little bit slow. I might want to put a bit more power in this. At the moment it's powering energy cubes as well, so they're not all the power is going to that. And also it's filling up these as well. So it's doing quite well on a few engines. I say well too many times. So, in here I've got energy tesseract, so I'll put them in there. I'll make 2 of them. Now I haven't played very much with these, but I get the gist of them. What I'm going to do is take off this and don't need this wire anymore. No point at all. Don't need it. Can go away. Then what we're going to do is replace this with Tesseract. So it's basically wireless power. Now what I want to do with here is that's going into it, and then here I'm going to change them to going outwards. So what we're going to do with these is they're going to act basically as a buffer, as same as you would like an MFE. These are going to power up and put power through to here. When power is through to here, it's then going to be waiting to come through to the next point. And that's where Tesseracts comes in, because that Tesseract will request energy and it will draw it from these cells without needing these engines to be on all the time. So it'll be a nice big buffer here, so this can request as much as it wants and it should be able to get it. Now these are 100 in and 50 out at the moment, so I can go up to 100 out. So they can give plenty of energy when needed. So like I said, these act as ender chests, and in these ender chests in this you can color code them in all sorts. And with this we're going to call it 1 because that's the frequency, and we're going to name that frequency, I believe, energy. There we are. So basically this is the channel it's on, and at the moment it's inactive because there is not a matching pair with it. So I'll go around here and put this one on here, and we'll just put him there just for ease. And blue means going in, so I guess we want to go going out. Now if I set up here, we've got a list here of what we can do already, so we just pick that one. And now he should be getting power. So if I go over here, these should now be draining as well, I believe. I might have to check this first though. Oh, maybe that works now. Check that he's on there, and this should now be working. Oh, as you can see, those trees just got destroyed. I believe they just got destroyed there. Oh, always need to check that. So saplings, we need to go back into it. We've got wood there. Good. Okay, so the next things we can do are item tesseractors. So I'm going to check if this is working, and I'm going to run for a little while. Actually, we can watch here if it works. Oh, there you are. Very fast, actually. So the power is getting there wirelessly. So you can build this wherever you want. And what we're going to do before I cut to some more work is I can build chunk loaders. Yeah, build 2 chunk loaders here, and all I'm going to do is put one down in there. Now these are member specific, so other people can't look at them in the figures or change them without breaking them. As you can see, it says King Happy here, and I'm just going to do a big one. So this is going to load up loads of chunks. I'm going to show lasers, and I'm going to do circle. So what this does, it's showing you which chunks it's actually loading, and it's loading in a circle. There we are. See, all this area will be loaded no matter if I go over there, or go over there, or even go to nether or the end. This area will still be loaded, so this tree farm will always be active and producing. I need to set out this actually, because that's throwing them on the floor, which it shouldn't be. Might need to check that. Unless it's throwing it out there, that actually might be the reason. Yeah, hang on. Let me get a diamond pipe here. So here is the diamond pipe going into there. I guess I can do a diamond pipe there, and then a... doesn't really matter if I use an iron or not there. You can go into there, and in here I have... let me get one of them. So oak sapling go in the red one. And then when the sand comes out, then I want the sand to go through the green one. Whoop. That one ran. Don't know where that one went. So hopefully that works now. So I'm going to check that, and I'll be back with you in a bit. Testing is complete, and I've come up with the final way of doing this, and it works rather well, so I'm happy with this at the moment. Just learning which sides go out of which. Basically on this one, when the sand comes out, it only comes out the side, not out the top. So you have to have a pipe out of that. It will not go directly into a chest, which is weird because I thought it did when I was testing it. And then this woodcutter will send produce out the top and wood out the sides. So when it comes up here, I've got the saplings going along to here. Saplings only go in to the top of these to go into the middle. So that goes in the top for the saplings. Some saplings also go into here to be saved, because this, in theory, produces more saplings than it requires to replant them. And if we go into tree breeding sometime, then we can make saplings that drop even more saplings when they decay from the leaves. So you'll get even more yield, because the whole point in this is to create extra saplings. And from these saplings we will be making biomass from. So that's the point in the farm. And from here, like I said, apples go out this side because it's a produce, and the wood will come out the bottom, like so. So that works really well, and Tesseracts is a lovely thing to have. I've been playing around with them. And what we need to do now is set up the sugarcane farm, and I'm going to do it a little bit differently, because I've got this gigantic hole underneath here, but it's a bit dark and it's a bit unsafe. So what I want to do is half slab out the floor, and those blades are going to keep powering the engines. That's why they're a bit loud. We want to eventually move off of blaze power and do something else, so that we don't have to listen to this all the time. It's not exactly the nice thing to look at either. So what we want to do is make a filler, and this is to fill in the floor underneath us. So make some landmarks in here, and a mark in there, make a filler. And these are awesome things. I've also got an energy cube that I've been charging up from down there. It's not full, but it'll be good enough, I hope. Let's just go down there to the floor. Leather long full boots, and you can go away. So I'll stand at this corner over here, I think. And what I want to do is level off and do half slabs at the lowest floor. So I'm going to set this up and I'll be back with you. Okay, ready to set it up. So I've got my energy cube here. This is the space that the filler will be sitting on. And with this, we need to set up landmarks. So put one here and apply a redstone signal to it. Then it will show me how far it goes, like so. And it's a bit dark down here for the moment, but this will show you how far it can go. So it'll be 64 in every direction. Now all I want to do, I don't really need to do that for this one, because I know that this is a square. So you've got to check how far it goes, and indeed it does go to the corner. There's some mobs around. So what I want to do is then hit that one and move it along. So back with you in a sec. There we are, so to get rid of the mobs. And if I just tap that, it will connect it up. And we do the same for the other side as well. Let's get rid of these blocks so they don't get in the way. And along we go. And then we then put on the filler, like so. So that's now connected up. You can then go upwards and do it above, so you can make a thicker filling. But for us, we only want to do one layer, and we're actually filling it with half slabs, so half a layer, but they still work with that. So let's go over here and put down our filler, like so. All of these placeholders will then fall to the ground. You can go collect them if you want to. And with this is the filler display, and we're going to use this filler, which means fill it all in, basically. You can change it around, there's other combinations. And then what we're going to do is put some blocks into here, but what we don't want is those. My bad. What we want to do is do the half slabs. And you can see it's put them down now, and the energy is coming out of the cube. So where's that doing it? There you are. You can see I derped up there. So I'm going to make the rest of these half slabs and finish off this floor, then I'll be back with you. So I'm really trying to cram a lot of things into one episode, so I've got this magical thing here, which is just producing sugarcane. This is one of the item Tesseracts, and I've called it Sugarcane. To set it to frequency 1, that's basically just the channel. I could have channel 2, channel 3 for another object. So this is bringing sugarcane through like so. And that means I set up the sugarcane harvester. Well, the first one anyway. Before we go and have a look at that, we'll see that I spent quite a long time doing it because this has produced quite a lot of oak saplings already, and wood. So soon we'll be looking at putting this through to a storage system so it doesn't overflow, and then we can actually use this as energy. And I think I'm just about to get around today to showing you a couple of the engines to transfer this biomass into, well, those natural things into biomass, as in the liquid. I think I might just set up a couple of engines to show you that today, but next time we'll be doing the whole setup, the tanks, the engines and everything. And just before I go down and show you, I was told to make some power tools, so here they are. Can't really upgrade them very much because you need things like titanium and some overclockers and things, and I don't really want to make them yet because I don't have a blast furnace. Down here it's exactly the same. I need to add lots more engines, a huge amount more engines, and I need to upgrade them with some circuit boards, which I will do next time. So before anyone asks about that, and if we just go down here through the little hole, we'll see that it looks a bit different. Now all half slabbed out, looks good. And we've got some light in here. Bit of a void fog though, so I have to beware there. So what I've got here, hopefully you can see. Let's break that while I'm here. We've got a sugarcane harvester in the middle. This does a 21 by 21 by 6 area. So you can have one of these going over maybe 2 layers of this, as they have a 6 high distance. They go 6 above and 6 below, I believe. No, 3 above, 3 below. Yeah, 3 above, 3 below should be. Anyway, it doesn't really matter that much. I'm having 1 per layer because I have the resources and it's a little bit faster when they grow straight away. See there, so just snatch that one. There we are. A little bit slow off the bat there. So what I've got here is Tesseracts. One is the same energy one as before. It's set on receive, and on here you have to change it. You can't have it directly on it. You have to change it so that there's an orange conduit, so it's sending it out, and the blue is receiving in there. Now it's set up so I can then just extend this upwards as far as I want. So this cable will just go straight up, and they would have these on each level. And then this is just an iron pipe so that later on, when the items come down, they will not try and go into this, they'll just keep going down. And you have to have an extra point on top of that so you can put it into the next Tesseract, which is called Sugarcane, and is on send only. So the items are going in and it's only sending it to the other one, which you saw at the top. Now I've still got to plant the rest of the sugarcane and everything else, so I will be doing that next episode as well, probably between the two. So let's go have a look at how we can now produce energy from that sugarcane and those oak saplings. So I'm going to arrange some setups now, and then I'll be back to you to show. Time to look at how we're going to produce power from this then. So we need a fermenter. This turns what we want into biomass, the liquid. We have then liquid ducts, and that's what we're using to transport the liquid. Then we have biogas engines, that's what we're using to burn the liquid and make energy. And then we use an aqueous accumulator to provide water to our fermenter, because the fermenter needs both power and water to work. So if I put a aqueous accumulator there, and water in that side, and water in that side, there we are. So that's starting to take water in, there we are. If you're one each side, it takes it in 1,000 to go. Doesn't take any power at all, but it outputs on every side, so just connect something up to it. So I put a liquid duct here, then you can see the water's going into that. And then what we want is to put the fermenter down here. I believe it's this way around, there we are. And you can now see that's now filling up. So there, in goes the water. And in here we have the biomass meter. So the fertilizer goes in one side, it should be right, no recipe, there we are. So these, some of them now have tips on them, but this one doesn't. So this is basically using the sapling with the fertilizer and producing biomass. It will store it up here. You can put it into cans and transport it manually, or you can put a liquid duct out the front. Let's get rid of that one just sitting there. Powered up these drills. Ooh, get the wrench out. Yeah. So that will now produce energy out the front. Should go out the front anyway, when it's got enough. And then we can then put our biogas engine on the front, which will then receive that. And let's say we're going to put it back into the system. So that should work. And we want to change this to an out, like so. Now when that gets enough energy in there, it will send it through. So I'll wait for that to happen. Okay, so I've let some biomass build up. That's not actually needed. You don't not need to wait for this to fill up at all. We're going to change this one to a out. This one is an in. We then need to power this one, like so, and the biomass will come through. This engine has now got biomass, but it needs its lava. See here, not warmed up. So we put some lava into here, and in it goes. So that's now warmed up, but you know, need a lever on that one. And now it should start working. Should do. There you are. Got a bit worried then. So that is what it's doing. It's now producing 5 MJ a second. Well, 5 MJ a tick, not a second. And it's getting a little bit warm. It's okay. So that's putting energy through here, which is then powering up these cubes as well as these engines over here. Ever so slightly in one of them, maybe. Must be going out too fast. Anyway, so it's now producing energy going through here, and there's also energy coming into here to keep this going. So this is now going to keep producing biomass for our engine. So what we want to do next time is set up a nice big setup, because basically I've used up all my resources today. I used up 70 odd diamonds and all of my copper basically. So this uses a lot of bronze and I've got none left. So next time I need to set up a whole load of turtles to do lots of mining for me. We're going to look at the blast furnace and looking at quarries and things, seeing if we can start looking at that to gain resources. But otherwise we can look at automating this, because at the moment we have sugarcane which is automated. Go up here, and it's night time, lovely. So at the moment this is going quite well. This is all automatic and only on one level. We can make more levels down there, which I probably will do sometime. But at the moment this is our resource we're going to be using mainly. We could also use the saplings here, but for speed the sugarcane is definitely the best, until you can do some tree breeding with these to get really a lot of saplings. But there's enough in there to keep going. So next time we would have an automatic system to move this sugarcane into the fermenters. We need a whole array of fermenters and a whole array of engines like this. But yes, that's all I have for time for today. Hopefully you've kept up with it, done a lot of stuff this episode. So If you have enjoyed, a like and everything else is always really appreciated. Recently YouTube, the feeds haven't been working, so depressing when I spend a lot of time on a video and they don't get very many views as they would normally. So, I do thank you very much for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.